Hello, deep divers. So, this is guided meditation number 2, and I really wanted to try and offer something where something simple, I guess, in a way, that we can all sort of tune into during these times where we're all being challenged to keep our hearts open and keep our feet on the ground and live inspired and open-hearted life in challenging times. So, as always, I feel that it can be very useful and skillful to bring a gentle kindness to our inquiries, our meditations, our looking inward. So that we come with an open mind and an open heart, and an air, a sense of an atmosphere, an attitude of curiosity, natural curiosity and presence. So I think many of us can relate to this sense that the physicality can feel kind of heavy in times like these, and kind of heavy in different moments on the journey. The world is full of all kinds of horrors at this moment, and here we are. And it can begin to be kind of a weight. So in this meditation, I would like us to turn that attention, turn the attention inward to the just basic, simple sense of aliveness. Aliveness. Right here, right now-ness. Find it. Find it with me in this moment. So we've got the intellectual, conceptual labeling and categorical aspect of consciousness. The thoughts are coming and going. The sensations are coming and going. Thoughts about the sensations, the events, the emotions, the feelings, the thinking. And the attention can land on any of that at any moment, or a specific part of the body. But I would like us to try and go just a little bit deeper to the basic sense of here I am. Here I am. And feel that. Feel it. I don't know where you might feel it, but the center of the chest or the surface of the skin, the beating of the heart. Find it in the physicality. Just a basic sense. You don't even have to come at it with an agenda of, I'm going to enjoy the basic sense of aliveness. Well, we don't know. We're just discovering freshly in this moment that basic sense, simple, Here I am, alive, quality of being. Feel it, sense into it, feed it with the attention, light it up with the attention. Where is this sense of right here, right now? Here I am, alive quality of being. So when we tap into the body of existence, the body that we are inhabiting with the aware presence, there can be a celebration, a celebratory sense to this aliveness. Even in the presence of grief or rage or some other emotion that is challenging, some other situation that is challenging. I'm not talking about denial or suppression or repression of something that's currently happening in the coming and going facet of life. I'm pointing to something deeper than that, that is inherent to the coming and going, regardless of what the current coming and going is. There's a stream, a current, a verve, a vibration of a live celebration that's inherent to being. So can we take a moment to just be quiet and still and sense into that, even if the mind is saying, hey, I just feel flat, or hey, I feel really grievous, or that's not my current experience, or I'm depressed, I feel, not kind of down about life. Okay, okay, okay. And we allow for the possibility, the potential of sensing into that primary, alive quality of being. You might even say luminous, as in knowing, not intellectual knowing, but a sense of here I am. Just see if you can sink into that, anchor there with the attention, rest, receive, relax. Take a break from holding space, bearing the weight of the world, listening to current events, whether they are perceived as outside or inside. Take a break from the weather patterns and rest. Rest into this deep celebration. Celebration that is not in denial of the current weather pattern, but is also unchanged, fundamentally unchanged by whatever the weather happens to be. Perhaps you can sense it deep in the cells, in the bones, in the core. Or perhaps it will feel most alive and celebratory on the skin, the top of the head, the soles of the feet, the spine. All lit up with this mysterious, fundamental, creative celebration. And if the attention is pulled into thinking, judging, categorizing, denying, it's okay. It's a simple thing to move one's attention. A simple thing. A simple act of love. To attend. Attend to something that is a giving of life, a delivering of life in every moment, a dance, a vibration, a luminous vibration. And allow ourselves to be called by that. Allow ourselves to relax and receive that, to just be, fall back and be that. It's almost like allowing oneself to relax into what one is prior to identification with thought, identification with current events, identification with right and wrong, identification with the emotions, the histories. Just allowing oneself to relax into something more primary, more fundamental. closer than close, more intimate than intimate. The very nature of oneself. And what is the sense of that in the body? Do we even know what the sense of relaxing and receiving and celebratory aliveness feels like? We may not. But we can begin to be curious about that. Bring the attention to something other than the current habit. And find out, like an adventure almost. So often we become discouraged by what is felt to be our inadequacies, our lack of ability, our lack of capacity. But we can be encouraged through a sense of discovery, curiosity, kind of like a fresh interest. Where is the sense of celebratory aliveness in this moment, in this body? What does it feel like to let go of the determining, categorizing aspect of conceptual reality? What does that feel like? Where do I find that? And then as that begins to be discovered, it can grow through attention. So we just begin by looking, listening attentively, sensing. We even know very well what it feels like to be in the cycle of thinking and feeling. It's kind of a well-worn path. But what does it feel like to simply, very simply, be alive? Be here. Be now. Right here. What is the sense of that? We're very conditioned to lock in on the object of our attention and then follow that, whether that object be a thought or a narrative or an actual object, a sound, a taste, a sensation, something we are touching, an object of the attention. And then the attention goes out and follows this as an object of the attention. But what happens if we turn the attention backwards, you might say, to its source? Or allow it to fall back. And the attention can never really, it can't objectify the ground. It can't objectify awareness, but it can rest in and as that. And that might be described as a holy instant, right here, right now. Very hard to speak about it without using terms of time, although it's timeless. Spontaneous immediacy, an effortless presence. And what does that translate? How does that translate in the body? What's the sense of it? You might say, what's the sense of having the body and the mind in the same room, in the same place, in the same current, here and now? What is the sense of that? So we can find out. We can remember. Remember. Relax. Receive this. Wondrous, precious gift of aliveness, being. The body of being, the body of existence, the body of love.